Welcome to the Rotary Club of York. We are a people of action dedicated to service above self and honoring the four-way test. It's so great to see your faces. I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Thank you for joining us again this week. Past President Brian Tace will lead us in our opening song, God Bless America, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Eric Chase will offer the invocation, and Jim May will introduce our visitors.
Thank you, President Jackie. Rotarians, please join me. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will you prepare yourself in a way that you are most accustomed to prayer? God, our Creator, we invoke your blessing on this meeting of Rotary and upon our being together. The joy of the Lord is our strength. We enjoy the fellowship we find here as it makes us feel grateful for all that we have been given. Help each one of us to enjoy doing good, supporting and encouraging one another. Thank you for this group and for letting us know that those great among us must first become great in serving others. Bless us with the pleasure of service and the joy of giving. We give thanks today for our District Governor, Greg, who's an example for us on how we can place service above self as he shares with us the state of the district. We ask for your blessing on this food, the hands that have prepared it and served it. May we use it to nourish our bodies so that we may continue to serve you through the world of Rotary. Amen.
Good afternoon. I'm pleased to have the honor of introducing our guests for today's meeting. When I call your name, please stand and remain standing until President Jackie has welcomed you. Assistant Governor Patrick Barry. Doug Henderson, guest of Kelly Gibson. Matt Neese, also guest of Kelly Gibson. Jennifer Nesbitt, guest of Albert Blakey. John Hilliard, guest of Andy Sebald. John Langle, guest of Austin Schenk. And Sean Skehan, guest of Tom Donnelly. President Jackie.
Thank you, Jim. Welcome to all of our visitors. We're delighted to have you with us today, and we understand that a few of you are interested in memberships. We're very excited about that. Thank you. We hope that you find this meeting today very edifying and enjoyable, and that you'll plan to visit again very often. Members, please help me welcome our visitors. We would like to extend our warmest wishes to all who are celebrating Hanukkah. May this festival of lights bring blessings upon you and your loved ones for happiness and good health. Happy Hanukkah. The CEF Board of Directors has voted to provide a disaster relief grant to the Horn Farm Center to help them recover from the October fire that destroyed much of the historic farmhouse that housed their operations. The board has approved this grant as a challenge match. Every dollar donated by Rotarians through mid-January will be matched up to $5,000. If you're interested in donating, please send a check to the office, or you can also donate through our website. I'm very sad to share with you that fellow Rotarian Keith Smith is very, very ill and in the hospital suffering incredible complications from COVID. He is in a medically induced coma and on a ventilator. So I would ask that you keep him lifted in your prayers and your well wishes. The program committee meets today following our meeting in the Mixed Grill. If you don't know where that is, please go down the steps and then continue down the steps into the lower level and you'll find the Mixed Grill. That was for the benefit of past President Mike Summers, who gets a little lost sometimes. The membership committee will also be meeting today in the Mixed Grill downstairs. And the Preserving Planet Earth committee will meet December 8th at 8 a.m. via Zoom. And now for our member moment. Michael Black joined Rotary in 2006. Bobby Simpson was his proposer, and Michael says, when Bobby asks you to do something, you do it. He often heard people talking about Rotary and visited the club on several occasions, seeing firsthand that it was very worthwhile to join. Mike was born and raised in York and graduated from York Catholic. He's had a variety of job opportunities, which provided him management experience in retail and as a banking financial specialist and business banker before accepting a position with Dacio more than 12 and a half years ago, where he was hired as director of sales and is now their chief sales officer, playing a strategic role in the company. Dacio has experienced huge growth since their inception in 2004 and do much of their business in school districts and universities. Mike loves sports, particularly all Philadelphia teams. He has season tickets to Penn State football, and he's been a season ticket holder since day one with the York Revolution. He enjoys playing golf and had the opportunity to play in Honolulu when he was there for the Pro Bowl. In addition to Hawaii, he's traveled to Europe and Asia. A special highlight for him was walking the Great Wall of China. He'd like to go back to Italy and travel to Australia one day. Mike is active in the community, serving on many boards, including the Burns Health Education Center and York City Redevelopment. He's the current board chair of York Day Nursery and is involved in a York College program for William Penn High School, where juniors can attend tuition-free classes at the college, which opens doors for internships and jobs in area companies, including Dacio. Mike is an animal lover and has had pets most of his life, including his current 19-year-old cat, Shiitake. He also enjoys astronomy and is learning how to use his sophisticated telescope. Mike loves movies and music and everything 80s. So naturally, his favorite holiday movie is A Christmas Story. He'll be celebrating his 50th birthday in January and is planning on hosting an 80s themed party. Michael, we're glad you said yes to Rotary when Bobby invited you to join the club 15 years ago. And thank you for all you're doing to advance youth in our community. And now it's my pleasure to present a check to one of our first recipients from the proceeds of our fall fundraiser, the Love for Community event. As you know, we identified 5 organizations that we wanted to present proceeds to. And today I am pleased to invite past President Al Sykes to the podium. Do we have a check?
Oh, it's right there.
We have a check.
It's so small you couldn't see it. Thank you. You know, Lynn hasn't been here that long and she already told Jack it's a mistake to have him at the podium. But I've tried depositing one of these at an ATM. It doesn't fit. It's just one page. Don't get excited. 15 years ago, to honor the centennial of the Rotary organization, the Rotary Club of York took the initiative to provide the funds and the leadership to bring Little League Baseball back to York City. The Rotary Club of York has been an integral part of the organization ever since, providing funds, leadership. 5 members of our club are also on the board of directors of the Little League. and hands-on help with signups, field maintenance, and tournament volunteers, and other duties from our tournaments. York City Little League wants to thank and honor the Rotary Board, the CEF, and the many individual members who continue to provide support by presenting President Jackie with this sweatshirt. Here, I'll let you hold that up, Jackie. Now, we'd also like to present President Jackie with this hat, but between you and me, this is probably more appropriate for past President Mike than it is for President Jackie. Well, it's in the family, Jackie. You get to decide. Now, Jackie, I'd like you to randomly draw a slip of paper out of this hat. Randomly. Yes, randomly. It's a random slip of paper. Okay, could you read that off?
It says Doug Berman.
Doug Berman. Okay. Now, Jackie, is Michael? Would you stand up? Michael Black, would you stand up? Okay. Now, Jackie, that from here to from the podium to Michael is just about 60 feet 6 inches. And the president of Rotary is always invited to throw out the first ball at opening day for York City Little League. So we want to give you a chance to warm up. So I have this ball. It's an official York City Little League ball, okay? And it's signed by, and Michael, you'll appreciate this. It's signed by York Revolution Hall of Famer, Corey Thurman, now a member of the Central York School Board, as it were. And we're going to present this to the name randomly drawn from the hat, Doug Berman. So Jackie, I want you to throw this ball to Michael as a practice. or perhaps not. There may be glassware between here and there.
Oh! Oh my gosh.
Just to give you a brief update, I wanted to let you know that we were able to have an abbreviated season in 2020 and a full season this past summer and fall. We had over 150 kids, which is quite frankly down, but probably not unexpected. And interestingly enough, usually our biggest influx of kids is for the T-ball kids and the coach pitch kids. And when there's a fluctuation, understandably, that's where it goes down. The good news is, as our kids got older, they've continued to play, and those numbers for the older teams have held up very well. Our 11 and 12-year-olds participated in the Clarence Boyd tournament and made the quarterfinals. We also initiated 4 new junior umpires and helped them to achieve their certification. More importantly, we provided instruction, a place to play, and lessons in sportsmanship and leadership. As you may imagine, a good percentage of our players are Hispanic, and this is their game. The start that we give them carries over to high school, where it gives them the incentive to do well in class and maybe even to stay in school. Because if you don't keep your grades up, you don't get to play sports at York High School. So I want to thank you again on behalf of the boys and girls from the York City Little League for the continuing support of the Rotary Club of York. Thank you.
York City Little League is such a gem, and we are so thrilled to continue to support all that they're doing in our community. And my goodness, I am so sorry, past President Jim Walker. He's not been able to join us for the most part of COVID, and he finally came today, and I decided to take him out. So we probably won't be seeing him again for a really long time. In fact, I've heard rumors he's moving to Ohio just to get away from the potential of being hit again. So sorry. Are you okay? So sorry. So sorry. All right. And now I would like to invite Walt Tilley to the podium for a very special tribute to our beloved youth exchange student and Rotarian David Bobo Ade.
Past President Jim, we're not throwing anything, so you should be okay, all right? So, it is with mixed emotions that I share with you today that David Boboade has accepted a position with Tesla. So he will be moving to Massachusetts to begin his work there. He leaves on Friday. So we're certainly thrilled by the bright future that David has that lies ahead of him, but we will certainly miss you. That bright future did not happen by accident. It was made possible by the generosity of our York Rotary Club. As you may recall, David recently graduated from York College with his degree in mechanical engineering. And some of the people who supported David in his college experience are seated at the table where we were and where JT Hand, our lane chair, is seated. Jennifer Nesbitt, she was host family, and members of our club include Rob Bowen, host family, Albert Blakey, host family, Diane Marino, and she is the Student Education Fund Chair who helped with some initial scholarship money, thanks to the generosity of you folks, our members. Not here, but our beloved former Executive Director, Bert Oberdick, was a host family as well. But seated at the table as well is Glenn Miller, the Senior Director of Philanthropy at York College. And there's a story behind Glenn's involvement that goes like this. 3 years ago, almost to the day, David came to our club because he thought he was saying goodbye then. And the introduction was made by Dick Brown, who just hinted that David was leaving because his family no longer had the ability to pay for his education at York College. That hint is all it took. By the end of the meeting, I was approached by Jeff Vermeulen, a member here, the vice president at York College, assistant vice president at York College. Leon Butler came up and said, I'll nominate him for the Philip Friedman Scholarship. That resulted, listen to this, in $40,000 of scholarship money for David's education. J.L. Smith came up. He's a member of our Youth Exchange Committee. And he said, I know someone, Dr. Pamela Gunter Smith. And I think it's safe to say that she empowered Jeff and Glenn to do whatever it took to make it possible for David to complete his education, and they did. So we are beyond grateful for the contributions of the York Rotary Club and its members, and we thank you. We see in the success that David has the service above self, the generosity of our members of our club spreads into the community. Thank you. Now, David would like to share a few words with you.
Hello, everyone. I just want to say a very, very big thank you to each and every one of you. I'm very proud to be a member of this club. You guys are like my extended family, but I'm sorry I must go. I hope to come back here again sometime soon. And until I do, the French say it well, au revoir, until we meet again. Thank you all so much.
So David, we bid you a sad farewell. We're sorry to lose you, but we are very, very happy for you and proud of you for all that you've achieved in your young life. And we wish you much, much continued success. And we hope that you will visit us again often to tell us how you're doing. Congratulations. And now Kevin Apnell will provide an update on each one. Bring one.
We like to keep it classy. We went with the blue solo cup for Rotary. Nothing but the best for all of you. So as we have mentioned multiple times in the last month or so, Rotary International has, through the leadership of Shaker Mehta, has the initiative of each one bring one. And we really leaned into that for the month of November. And we were asking each of you to bring one at some point in November. And we were connecting that with some sort of incentive. Do you have that slide up there? Great. I want to recognize the following people. If you could stand up, if your name is up there, I'll read them off quickly. If you could stand up, I would just love to recognize you, give you a round of applause. Dennis Bachman, Jen Brillhart, Eric Chase, Jane Conover, Frank Countess, Robert Davis, Tom Donnelly, Ann Druck, Josh George, Kelly Gibson, Brian Grimm, Becca Hanlon, Aaron Jacobs, Dan May, Scott Monteth, Austin Schenk, Dick Sloan, Jackie Summers, Mike Summers, and Jules Tolbert. Now, I did want to mention, I can barely see it from here, but there's some marks next to some of the names. I wanted to mention that the ones that had the little asterisks there meant that they actually brought more than one guest to one of our meetings in November. And if they had the little, whatever that thing is, little carrot thing, that means that they've actually already proposed a new member from their November guests. So really wanted to say that we appreciate that. Thank you for doing that. These are people of action, and thank you for your efforts in making that each one bring one push for November successful. So thank you for that. Now, hold on, but wait, there's more. My favorite part as a nonprofit executive director is giving away stuff that I didn't pay for. So I'll tell you what, since Greg didn't get his official introduction yet, I'm going to ask Ben, can I put you on the spot for a second? All right, so we have 3 names we're going to pull out. If your name had one of those little symbols next to it, you actually got to go in here twice. The only rule I'm going to say is you can't win twice. All right, so if your name gets drawn a second time. I'm going to allow, Phil Woods could not be here today, but he's going to be the one to present you with the little bit of a little evening entertainment that you'll be able to have downtown in York. So Ben, if you could come on up here, we're just going to grab 3 names, and Phil will see you in a future week to give you your.
Want me to pick all 3?
I'll read. Sure, go ahead. And then I'll read them. I won't make you do that.
I was not paid for this.
Yes, Ben, our IT specialist. Thank you for stepping in. All right, first one, Kevin Apnell. No, I'm just kidding. Dick Sloan is the first one. So Phil will connect with you. Jane Conover is the second one. And who was our third one? We never repeat, did we? Austin Schenk. So Austin, Jane, and Dick Sloan, Phil will be connecting with you, and you'll be getting a nice gift card to hopefully you and maybe just yourself, but maybe someone else too, you can take with you, and you can have a good evening out. So that's on behalf of the membership committee. Thank you so much. We'll have more in early 2022 to try and create some incentives to bring some guests and really grow our numbers. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you, all of you who took that challenge to heart and brought guests, and please continue to do that because we're promoting each one bring one for the remainder of the year. And now to introduce our program, please welcome Assistant Governor Patrick Berry, who's been a member of the Rotary Club of Southern York County for the last 5 years, serving as their president for 2 years, 2017 to 2019. And he will introduce our district governor.
Hello, everybody. I have the pleasure of introducing our district governor, Greg Staub, who's a CFA PhD. He's a native of Hanover, Pennsylvania, born in 1957. Greg is a graduate of DeLone Catholic and holds a bachelor's degree from Temple University and a PhD from Tulane University. He's a graduate of the American Bankers Association National Trust School, and in 1993 was awarded the designation Chartered Financial Analyst. Greg has over 30 years experience as a banking executive, asset manager, and financial planner. Currently, he is managing partner and chief investment officer of PSI Capital Management, a regional investment management and financial planning firm with offices in Lancaster, Hershey, Camp Hill, and Hanover. Greg is very active in the Hanover community, having served on the boards of several local nonprofits. His Rotary resume includes having served as a past president and board member of the Rotary Club of Hanover, and as an assistant governor for Rotary District 7390. He is a graduate of the Rotary Leadership Institute and a member of the Paul Harris Society. Greg and his wife Edie reside in Hanover, Pennsylvania, and are proud parents of 4 children and the grandparents of 5. He is a member of the Baltimore CFA Society and the CFA Institute. He is also a professional funnel cake tester. So if you have any funnel cakes, please invite Greg. Please join me in welcoming our District Governor, Greg Staub.
Thank you. Thank you for that very warm welcome. Could I get a hand for Assistant Governor Patrick Barry, who's doing a great job for us in this group of clubs. Thank you, Patrick. I'd also, my first duty, I would like you to also give a round of applause for past District Governor Dr. Ben Hoover and past District Governor Dick Brown, who are also in attendance today. These gentlemen are one of or 2 of many people that inspired me to undertake this journey to the district governorship. So thank you very much. This Rotary year promises to be one of tremendous opportunity and unprecedented challenge for both Rotary and Rotarians. As we marshal our energy and our resources to meet these challenges, I am asking you to join me in focusing on 2 principles. The first is the first object of Rotary, which is the development of acquaintance as an opportunity for service. If there's one thing that we learned during the pandemic is that we humans are social critters. We are built for cooperation. As long as there are humans, there will be the desire to band together to make our lot in the world better. And this is exactly what makes Rotary work. For so many people in so many ways, not just the people we help, but Rotarians themselves. The second principle is that everything important in Rotary happens here in the clubs. The clubs are the powerhouse of Rotary. Clubs run the fundraisers that fuel our service projects, provide the hands-on labor that make those projects happen, and Rotarians in our clubs fund the crown jewel of Rotary, which is our foundation. If we never allow ourselves to be distracted from those 2 principles, we will be able to meet the challenges of the coming year and position Rotary for a bright future. The Rotary Foundation truly is the crown jewel of Rotary. Our foundation is the only charity in the world where the projects it funds are conceived, planned, and executed by its donors. It's also the only charity in the world that returns, after 3 years, 50% of the contributions made by its donors back to those donors to fund local projects. Please accept my heartfelt thanks for the York Club's tremendous support for the Rotary Foundation. In fact, in the last Rotary year, District 7390 was #1 in foundation giving in Zone 32. And in case you don't think that's a big deal, Zone 32 is comprised of 22 districts, 1,154 clubs, and over 32,000 Rotarians. It includes most of the Northeast United States and part of Southeastern Canada. And this district was #1, and a large part of the thanks goes to you folks here in York. So give yourselves a hand. As we emerge from the pandemic, we must make every effort to position Rotary as a way for business and community leaders to restart their public lives as we restart our economy. We must reach out to those who are forced to leave us and invite them back. At the district level, we are reinvigorating our membership resources to help our clubs accomplish their goals by identifying best practices for membership development and sharing those resources with all clubs in the district. Under past District Governor John Anthony's guidance, we have formed a mentorship committee led by past Assistant Governor Elizabeth Wolf that will seek out best practices for membership engagement and retention and make those resources available to all the clubs in the district. Above all, we must continue to hone Rotary's value proposition for business and professional leaders and solidify Rotary's position as the preeminent service club in the world. Rotary International President Sheikh Armeda has asked us to follow a simple guideline this Rotary year: each one, bring one. I applaud your effort here for each one, bring one. It's a tremendous way to go about that, and it's bearing fruit. I would not be standing here at this podium, and many in this room, statistics from Rotary International tell us that 87% of us wouldn't be here unless someone had simply reached out and asked us to join them at a Rotary meeting. So again, we're asking each of you to reach out and bring a friend to Rotary. One of my highest personal concerns is the leadership vacuum that our great nation faces. I believe that Rotary is in a perfect position to help address this. We have excellent tools within Rotary to help any Rotarian hone their leadership skills. New initiatives like Rotary's partnership with Toastmasters International continue to build our toolbox for leadership training. I had a great experience 2 weeks ago. I went to my first Toastmasters meeting, and I'm going to join. Toastmasters champions two things that are becoming lost arts in this country. One is public speaking, and the other is listening. If you're at Toastmasters meeting, part of your reason for being there is, if you're not presenting, is to critique the presentations that are being made. To do that, you have to listen. It was a Zoom meeting. It was one of the first one I've ever been in where all eyes were up front on the speaker and people weren't doing this. So that was a refreshing change. In District 7390, our biggest challenge over the next several years will be to develop a new generation of leaders. Rotary asks a lot of its members in terms of financial and time resources. We need to work very hard to make sure that those commitments are reasonable, particularly for young leaders and professionals who are starting careers and building families. Part of the mandate for the new mentorship committee is to identify those young leaders and make them aware of the opportunities that Rotary offers to step up and lead, and to encourage them to do so. As a personal favor, I would like your club to identify several of your young Rotary leaders and send them to our district conference next May. The world is changing rapidly around Rotary. 93 years ago, television took 22 years to reach 50 million users. In 2019, Pokemon Go reached 50 million users in 6 days. Rotary will change, whether we like it or not, because the world in which Rotary exists is changing exponentially. It is up to us to guide that change so that the promise and purpose of Rotary established by Paul Harris so many years in Chicago is not lost. We have to ask ourselves, if we were to invent Rotary today, would it look like it does? And the answer is clearly no. Then why not work to make Rotary into what both Rotarians want it to be and what the world needs it to be? Our district conference is scheduled for next May, 6th and 7th, 2022. The theme of that conference will be the future of Rotary. I invite all of you here to join me in Harrisburg and help plan the future of our Rotary. I'd like each club to commit to send its leadership team to that conference so that your club's voice will be heard as Rotarians in District 7390 develop that vision. Finally, Rotarians have a reputation for keeping their promises. 36 years ago, we promised to eradicate polio from the face of the earth. And we are very, very close. There have been only 4 cases of wild polio in the world this year so far. While there have been setbacks, the polio virus is only a plane ride away. It has been vaccinated into a corner and we cannot allow it to escape. Please join me this year to support Polio Plus by joining the Polio Plus Society, participating in events like Pints for Polio and the Ride to Eradicate Polio, or have your club create your own Polio Plus fundraiser. On behalf of your district leadership team, District Governor-elect Julia Altenberg, District Governor nominee Fred Gellert, immediate past District Governor John Anthony, Assistant Governor Patrick Barry, and myself, thank you from the bottom of my heart for all that you do here in York for Rotary. Now, if President Jackie could join me here, we have some, a past mentor of mine told me that always bring gifts if you're going to speak to a group. That way, if people don't like what you're saying, they're less likely to throw things at you. And these are not gifts. These are well-justified recognition. The first is to the Rotary Club of York, and it's a certificate of appreciation for financial support of End Polio Now, okay? The Countdown to History campaign. And Jackie, congratulations and thank you very much for your support of Polio Plus. The second is the Rotary Citation for Total Foundation Giving Award for the district. It's presented to the Rotary Club of York. Again, thank you for your support of the foundation. And last but not least, presented to the Rotary Club of York for having the second highest total annual fund giving to the Rotary Foundation during the Rotary year 2021. Again, thank you. Congratulations.
So we're going to open it up for questions for the district governor. But before I do, I just want to say that the District Foundation dinner was held a few weeks ago in Mechanicsburg, and our Rotarians, Bill Hartman, who chairs our foundation committee, Lou Elliker, Ed Crooks, attended that dinner in person, and past District Governor Ben Hoover and I attended that meeting via Zoom. So we had great attendance there, and we were so thrilled that Bill and Lou and Ed could be there in person to accept these awards. Thank you. And thank you to all of you who made these awards possible. Because of your generosity and your commitment to the Rotary Foundation, we were able to do really great things right here in our own backyard. So thank you all. Give yourselves a round of applause. All right, are there any questions for the district governor?
Yes, sir. Okay. Yeah, the question is, during my prepared remarks, I said that if we were to invent Rotary today, would it look like it does? And I said that the answer was no, then why not work to make it? And the question was, what do I think Rotary, if I was starting Rotary today, what would it look like? The first difference, I think, would be in the way that we communicate with the world, okay? The pandemic sort of accelerated a trend that was already in existence. An awful lot of information these days travels via social media and via electrons in general. And Rotary, quite frankly, is not very good at that. Okay, we're trying. So I would, if I was starting Rotary today, I would have a much bigger social media presence. I would have ways for people to participate in Rotary without actually showing up for lunch or breakfast or whatever. Okay, so that I think is one big difference. I know I had a great discussion with your board earlier this morning, and that discussion centered around where are we going with how we conduct meetings and things like that, and how we reach out to people in the community. And the end gist of that is there's some very, very interesting, I'm trained as a scientist, so very interesting experiments going on right now. I know at the district level, traditionally, we have had trouble getting people to fill district roles simply because we had a tendency to run them all over the place. There's a lot of those district roles are transitioning into being handled by Zoom. For instance, the grant committee, which is one of the key things that the district does, those meetings were traditionally held monthly at a diner up on 83. And everybody had to come from all over the district to get there. Well, we do all that by Zoom now, and it still gets done. It gets done very well. So there are an awful lot of things that I think going forward, we're going to relook at how we do them. And are we making the best use of Rotarians' time and money? Okay. And also, membership, I think, is a key issue with that also. I'm kind of an artifact of what I do for a living. I'm a marketer at heart. And part of marketing is putting whatever it is that you want to market squarely in the path of people who you want to market it to. And we need to do a better job of making Rotary accessible to people. And I just to cite a really, really good example, it was a year before the pandemic, the Rotary Club of Elizabethtown, which traditionally was a Friday lunch club, took a look at the community that they exist in, and they said, okay, where are the potential Rotarians? Who do we want to reach out to? And they realized that Elizabethtown is largely ex to college and Mars, a bedroom community for Philadelphia, because the train station is Amtrak train station is there. So they started a satellite club that meets in the evening at a brewery right next to the train station. And they got 23 new members. And that club is still functioning as a satellite. And it was done simply by making Rotary accessible to people who disappear at 6 o'clock in the morning and they don't come back till 6 o'clock at night. So Rotary had to be there for them when they could participate. So I think it's a lot of things like that where we need to take a look at the community that our clubs exist in and try and make the ability to be a Rotarian accessible to people. The key is that the way people work is changing, and consequently we need to make sure that Rotary can adapt to that. Did that answer your question? Okay, thank you. Anyone else? In the back. Okay. Officially, no. Okay. The question was, does Rotary have a position on COVID prevention, I take it, and or immunization? Rotary International has not issued an official statement. Okay. I'm just going to make a personal statement. I think it's somewhat hypocritical for Rotary to be running around the world trying to immunize people against polio and then not support the immunization effort here. I got vaccinated pin on. Jackie has those available that were provided by the district. So I think, and Rotary's, the mechanism that we put in place worldwide to deliver polio vaccine has been used to distribute in some countries the COVID vaccine. It's also been used in even more countries to distribute health information about COVID. So WHO particularly found, the World Health Organization found the Rotary infrastructure to be a particularly good way to get health information out to a lot of people very quickly. And it's a trusted way. People, I first joined Rotary, and I'm very proud of the fact that Rotary is, has been and continues to be both apolitical and a-religious. Not that we're opposed to any of those things, but we don't make our decisions based on those things. And as a consequence, there's a great deal of trust that's been developed worldwide. And Rotary is allowed to go to places where an awful lot of people aren't allowed to go to do some good things. So, and we have formed a safety committee in the district, which is led by District Governor-elect Juliet Altenberg, who is a nurse by training and the executive director of the Pennsylvania Trauma Association. And she has been instrumental in getting out to our clubs a lot of information about how to keep your people in your club safe, and that included information on immunization. So, Did that answer your question? Okay. Yes, sir. Past president asked if, as I traveled around the district, have I seen any projects that particularly impressed me? Okay. Yeah, I've seen a lot. Okay. And one of the ones that surprised me was because Myerstown Elko has a joint fundraising project going with the local Lions Club, where they didn't have quite enough labor, either one of them, to pull this off, and they got together and they I think it's a Christmas basket thing or something like that. I can't remember the exact details. And in fact, there was a meeting held about a month ago in Evanston, which when I saw it, at first I didn't believe it. The heads of Rotary, the Lions, the Optimist, and there was another. Kiwanis, yes, all got together in Evanston and talked about how our collective organizations could get together and maybe perhaps do even more good. That is unprecedented. That has never happened before in the history of certainly Rotary, and I don't think in the history of those other organizations. So I'm starting to see, even at the local level, more cooperation between local service clubs. And that to me is, that's a cool thing. I'd like to see that continue. Yes, ma'am. We've seen, the answer is, are we seeing clubs in the district that are making gains in membership and also making gains in diversity, equity, inclusion? The answer to both questions is yes. Okay, particularly in the DEI side of things. Okay, as I look out, I look out on a lot of audiences, and as I look out on those audiences, they are changing. Okay, and they're changing in a good way, meaning they are more reflective than I've ever seen in my experience as a Rotarian. They are more representative of the communities in which that club resides. Okay, and that's really what we're all after is, and I would encourage, I know York has done a tremendous job with this, but I'm encouraging all the clubs that I talk to do a community assessment and take a good look at your community. Okay, and is your club's membership representative of that community? And is your club responding to the community's needs? The other thing I like about that process is that, if nothing else, it involves people who are Rotarians going into the community and asking questions and saying, I'm from Rotary. And inevitably somebody's going to ask, well, what's Rotary, right? So that gets us out there in the community also. So we are holding, since the beginning of 2021, which is, or this Rotary year, let's put it that way. We've been holding our own in the district and membership. Okay, so collectively, we're doing a pretty good job. People are leaving, more people are coming in. But some of the clubs are really struggling, and there are a few that are growing. So, and what are the differerences? The differences that I see, the clubs that are growing have plans, membership plans in place. This is what we want to get accomplished. These are the steps that we're going to take to try and accomplish that. And those steps vary. They vary by the community, because every club is different, because every community is different. They could be things, i.e. some clubs are having kind of open house nights where they're inviting, they get a hold of a chamber list and, just send invitations to everybody that's on that list and say, why don't you come learn more about Rotary and have a drink and some hors d'oeuvres on us. There are efforts to also, there are a lot of clubs and satellite clubs that are being formed around specific interests. And there have been the more successful efforts have focused on the environment. There are a lot of very small environmental groups that are doing some nice work, but they could be doing even better work if they were part of a bigger organization like Rotary. And there's an effort being made to reach out to those folks and bring them into the Rotary fold. Also, you know, there was a very successful one in, I think it was in Illinois or Michigan, I can't remember which, but the club was formed around a concern about human trafficking. And that's their focus. All their grant programs are geared toward that, their fundraising efforts, and that's fine, okay? But again, it's a matter of putting Rotary squarely in the path of people who would make it Rotarians. So did I answer your question? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Are we going to do this? Okay, I'll stick around.
Right. District Governor Staub has asked to stay with us for our membership committee meeting following our meeting today. He has a real interest in what we're doing to that end. At this time, it gives me pleasure to welcome the chair of the Rotary Foundation for our club committee to come forward, Bill Hartman, to make some Paul Harris Fellows presentations.
Thank you, President Jackie. The dinner that Jackie and Greg talked about was fabulous. And to your question, Al, really lots of great examples of projects that were approved and funded here in central Pennsylvania, as well as projects around the world, all funded by your contributions to the Rotary Foundation. So it was really, I'm always proud to be a member of this club. I was even more proud to see us recognized as a leader among the clubs in the district. So today we do have some examples of outstanding true Rotarians who are contributing to the foundation. And in addition to being congratulated by President Jackie, we have the honor of having them congratulated by Greg Staub, our district governor. So the first one that would like to recognize is our newest Paul Harris Fellow, and that is Leanne Wilson. Leanne took advantage of the matching points system that was put in place by the district last year and became a Paul Harris Fellow. So Leanne, would you please come forward? Next, we have three outstanding Rotarians who have achieved their 4 Sapphire status. First of all is past President Rob Bowen. Next is Bob McSweeney. And although John Olkowski couldn't be here, we do want to publicly recognize him. So Rob and John, congratulations. In addition to these 3 Rotarians consistently contributing, Jim Anderson has continuously and consistently contributed to the foundation and has now achieved an important milestone, his first Ruby. So Jim, would you please come forward and receive that award? Today, we have 2 examples of the use of recognition points. The first is for Bob Borden, who is awarding a Paul Harris Fellow pin and certificate to his granddaughter, Lila Borden, who is preparing to graduate from University of Richmond, I believe. Is that right, Bob? Good. Past President Jeffrey Walker is our first past president to be hit by a pitch, okay? And since your injury doesn't look like it was bad enough for you to have to take your base, instead of taking your base, we'd like you to come forward and we would like you to accept a Paul Harris pin and certificate for your son, Jeff. We also have a Paul Harris Fellow 5 Sapphire pin for past President Al Sykes. Would you please come forward? In addition to thanking these OTRs and congratulating them, I would also like to remind you all that you still have an opportunity to take advantage of our own club's matching points program until December 31. We're really glad that some of you have already taken advantage of it. And when I made that little joke, if you remember when I announced this program and I said, all Paul Harris fellows, please stand up. And those of you still seating, come up and see me after the meeting. I'm pleased to report that some of you did. So thank you very much for your support of the foundation.
Thank you, Bill, for all your great work to benefit the Rotary Foundation. We really appreciate your creativity and your commitment to helping us extend all that we can do for our community. Thank you. And a very special thank you to District Governor Greg Staub. Thank you for taking time away from your busy schedule to be with us today, for sharing your wisdom with us, for your incredible dedication to Rotary around our district and in the world. Thank you so much for your great work. In honor of District Governor Staub's presentation today, we are presenting the book Pete the Cat's Groovy Guide to Kindness by Kimberly and James Dean to the Logos Academy, and he has graciously signed the book plate inside this book. And so I'm missing my paper. One moment. I could wing it, but I always have these great things written down. Anyway, next week, our speaker will be Katie Seifer, principal of York Catholic High School. Since 1927, York Catholic High School has been a steadfast fixture in the city of York. Many current students and graduates have had significant impacts on our local York community and elsewhere across the world. With principles that very much align with the four-way test of Rotary, York Catholic students and alumni seek to serve. To facilitate this, York Catholic is in the midst of a multi-year, multi-million-dollar capital campaign that has already begun to transform the school campus. So we'll look forward to that meeting next week. And now our closing quote is by Coretta Scott King. The greatness of a community is most accurately measured by the compassionate action of its members. Thank you all for being here. I hope you have a great rest of your week. This meeting is adjourned.